Okay, so this is a video that I should have recorded a long time ago, but I was just recently reminded of it. And when you hear what reminded me of this, you're gonna laugh. So I was at work, and there's hair in my mouth. Ah, sorry, I get hair in my mouth very frequently. Um, anyway, so I was at work, and there was this guy that was talking to another employee. And so, because he was talking to him and joking with him, he wasn't putting his streamliner in the elevator so that I could bring the elevator up, which had my stuff in it as well. So he was holding back work, so I yelled down at him, like, are you going to go messing around and put your streamliner in the elevator? You know, because it's not right, because we're on a very strict quota and everything. So, it's not right to hold other people back and slow them down. But then the guy he was joking around with said, yeah, put it in there, Virgin. And I don't know what that joke meant. And I probably don't want to know. But I said, I don't get the joke, but I am a virgin. And he's like, are you? And he seemed surprised. And I said, yeah, I'm going for the record. I hear it's 40. Referring to the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin. However, ever since then, I've been constantly thinking about the concept of virginity. And it's a very weird concept because I have seen some weird things on the internet. There are things like there's purity culture, and there's all kinds of weird concepts in Christianity and other religions about virginity. Now, here's what's weird about this. Now, I didn't prepare for this at all, really. Except that there's this link Monique, my co-host, sent me. And it's a petition. And I'm going to show you this petition and read this text of this petition, because some of you are too lazy to read, and some of you might be deaf. Not deaf, blind. Never mind, I can't talk. If you're blind, you can still listen to my YouTube channel. So, anyway, I'm going to show you this interesting article. Going to go to my web browser. Okay, so we have this petition on Care 2. Let me make sure that I am recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. Virginity testing is unscientific, unnecessary, and downright abusive. Now, there are 59,587 supporters, I guess people who have signed this petition, and the goal is 60,000. So I'm going to read this. So-called virginity testing is an antiquated and horrific procedure still done around the world. Recently, the shameful practice has grabbed headlines because rapper T.I. said that he accompanies his daughter to the doctor to get her virginity tests. Not only is it impossible to test for virginity, it's also extremely abusive. No doctor should be allowed to perform this completely unnecessary and invasive test. Will you sign the petition calling on American medical licensing boards to make performing these tests grounds for losing a medical license to practice? This test has to do with evaluating the hymen, which is a piece of flesh that many people with vaginas have near the entrance to the vaginal canal. However, not all people with vaginas even have one, and for those that do, they are shaped in many different ways. Virginity testing is when a medical professional uses fingers or a speculum to inspect the vaginal canal to evaluate whether it has been penetrated by seeing if the hymen has been stretched or broken. The theory being, if the hymen is stretched or broken or not there, a penis must have entered the vagina. The problem is that even for vagina owners who have hymens, those hymens can be broken and stretched in a number of ways. Riding a bike or a horse, running, jumping, using a tampon, and self-penetration with fingers. This is all to say the shape or existence of the hymen tells us nothing about whether a penis has entered a vagina, making the practice useless as at its intended goal. Further, there is no medical purpose for this practice. It's purely done to determine a person's moral standing, which, according to those who do this, is linked to whether anything has entered a vagina. The actual health and medical things related to intercourse, like STIs and pregnancy, don't require any knowledge of the hymen at all. This means that any medical professional who performs this procedure is doing an unscientific, unnecessary, and ultimately abusive thing to a vulnerable person. No person should be forced to undergo such an invasive test, and people who've had them report feeling violated, ashamed, and confused. Some even describe the experience as rape because usually they have not asked for this test, themselves meaning they are coerced into an unnecessary, potentially painful, and ultimately disgusting abuse. That's why we are calling on medical licensing boards to make it a licensing issue. If a doctor agrees to perform this test, they are acting outside the scope of their medical practice and should lose their license for assault. Now, the reason I'm recording this video is, first of all, this is a very interesting petition, and you can read it. I think I'll put the link in the description if you want to sign this petition as well. But right now I want to talk about my thoughts about this petition and the topic of virginity testing in general. Now, although I'm a bit surprised about this, I can't say I'm too surprised, because growing up a Christian and reading the Bible, I remember there was something about virginity in the Bible where they tried to test whether or not a woman was a virgin, and I want to there's probably infinite. Oh yeah, there's over 5 million results for about the Bible reference I'm thinking of, because I remember it's in there. So let's see. Now I'm trying to find because I remember there was something. The word virgin is the key. Okay. There's a lot of things about virgins in the Bible. Okay. But there's a specific Okay, I think this is the one. Sorry I didn't reference this beforehand. That would have saved me some time. Okay, let's see. Right now we're looking at English Standard Version. But the exact version of the Bible shouldn't make a difference. Okay. Let's see. Now, is that not the verse I'm thinking about? No, there was definitely something. Oh, wait, this is the one. Okay. This is in Deuteronomy chapter 22. Now I know where it's at. Okay. I'm going to read this as well, just so you know the whole context of what this is. Here's the passage here. If any man takes a wife and goes into her and then hates her and accuses her of misconduct and brings a bad name upon her, saying, I took this woman, and when I came near her, I did not find in her evidence of virginity. So this is a thing. Back when the book of Deuteronomy was written, this was a concern people had, that men would marry some woman and then she wouldn't be a virgin when they had sex. So this is people believed in this virginity concept back then, and there was evidence of it. Then the father of the young woman and her mother shall take and bring out the evidence of her virginity to the elders of the city in the gate. And the father of the young woman shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter to this man to marry, and he hates her. And behold, he has accused her of misconduct, saying, I did not find in your daughter evidence of virginity. And yet this is the evidence of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloak before the elders of the city. And then the elders of that city shall take the man and whip him. Oh, so he's whipped if he accuses her of not being a virgin, and then they think they have evidence of virginity. Okay, so he's whipped. Then the elders of that city shall take the man and whip him. Okay, yeah, I read that. And they shall fine him 100 shekels of silver, and give them to the father of the young woman, because he has brought a bad name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not divorce her all his days. But if the thing is true, that evidence of virginity was not found in the young woman, then they shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done an outrageous thing in Israel by whoring in her father's house. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. Now, the reason I wanted to read this Bible verse, which is not something I typically do, being an atheist and all that, is because there's something you people need to know. And I've shown you the petition about the virginity testing. I've shown you the verse where they try to test for virginity. Now, and I have a few things to say about this. And also, this, I'm going to save this exact link to the thing I read. I actually have let's see here. Yeah, I actually have a text file that I had prepared here. Okay, yeah, this is just technical stuff, because I want to save this link because I read the whole thing, and I want you to visit this site and read this link too if you don't believe me, if you really think I'm making this up, that the Bible says this, because there's going to be somebody who says that I'm making this up. Now, back to myself. Okay, so I have so many thoughts about this virginity testing petition and the verse in the Bible, because I knew this was in there, because I've read 95% of the Bible, I'm confident to say. And this is the idea. If a woman is not a virgin when she's married, she's supposed to be stoned to death. This is a command by God given to the Israelites in the Old Testament. Now, here's the problem. On the one hand, virginity testing is not scientifically valid. There's no way to know. There is no virginity test. There is no way for knowing who is a virgin or not. First of all, for women, there's no way to tell who is a virgin or not. Because the hymen, which people think is the evidence, can be broken off riding a bicycle. I mean, come on. So, virginity testing should not happen. I agree with that. However, you have to understand the culture we live in. We live in a world with billions of people, Christians, Jews, and Muslims, who believe in this Old Testament verse, because this is Old Testament. So there are people of major world religions which have huge political influence that follow a book that they claim is true, and that God commanded the stoning of a woman who's not a virgin. So that's the situation we live in. So, will people outlaw virginity testing? Who can say? But if they do sign this petition, they're going against their Bible. They're going against the command. See, because if somebody lives by the Bible, they need to make sure they test for virginity and stone these women to death and whip the man who falsely accuses someone of not being a virgin. So if we're going to live biblically, yeah, you should be doing virginity testing. But fortunately for me, I'm an atheist and I don't have to live by the Bible. I gave that up years ago. But this is very interesting, I find, because aside from the fact that there is no true way of testing virginity for women, there's another topic that seems to be ignored here. There's no way of testing a man for virginity either. So, the thing is outright sexist right from the start. Because there's no way, like, a man can have sex as much as he wants, and he can say he's a virgin, even if he's not, and nobody can do any test, so they're not going to stone him to death over it, because everyone kind of knows there's no way of testing a man's virginity. So that's the interesting thing about it. And so my thing is, because when I tell people I'm a virgin, I expect them to believe me because I'm an honest person. First of all, why would I make it up? Because first of all, nobody cares about a man's virginity anyway. And since biologically I'm a man, nobody has ever told me that my value as a person depends on whether or not I'm a virgin. In fact, quite the opposite. Women are expected to be virgins, whereas men are just criticized if they are a virgin, if they don't have sex. It's a weird sexist thing where if women have sex, then they're a whore, they're a slut, and they should be stoned to death. Whereas if a man has sex, the other guys are like, yeah, tell us more, like, that's the thing, is we live in this sexist world where men are praised for having sex and women are slut-shamed for having sex. Now, this is interesting. And I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, and that's why I'm recording a video about this, because this concept of virginity testing is a very outdated and very religious concept, and I am unable to understand this. I don't understand, first of all, why somebody would particularly care whether or not someone was a virgin if they married him or whatever. I don't care if you're a virgin. It doesn't matter, because I'm certainly not having sex with you. Go do that with somebody else if you want to. I'd rather you not, because I want the human race to go extinct. But it's weird. Like, I don't care who's a virgin. However, I do care that I'm a virgin. And my virginity means a lot to me. And it's a weird concept to understand. And the reason my virginity means so much to me is precisely because it is not something that was forced on me, but that I chose. I have never had sex with anyone, nor do I intend to. And that's why I call myself the vegan virgin. Because they both start with vegan, it sounds cool. But anyway, the point of all this is that, virginity is this concept that's often associated with purity. And notice what the link said about moral standing. See, there is this idea that if you had sex before marriage, that you are immoral, or you're bad, or you've defiled yourself and brought shame to your family, and all that sort of thing. Which is very weird. But anyway, it's so interesting, because in this sexual culture where everybody is obsessed with who has had sex at what stage in their life, whether or not they were married, who they had sex with, and they want to know everything about who's having sex with who, and they want to know who's a virgin or not. So we live in a quite literally fucked up world. That's the kind of world we live in, because fuck means rape or sexual intercourse, basically. Anyway, so we live in this fucked up world where everybody is obsessed with who has had sex before or not. It's very strange. And I mean, I don't really know if I can say anything more about this. The whole concept is just so foreign to me. However, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the concept of virginity testing? Should it be made illegal? Should doctors lose their license? Or is it an important part of our culture that should be preserved because people believe in their religions, where God actually commands the Israelites to do this virginity test? It's a very weird thing, because if you believe in your religion and you believe in your Bible, then you might see virginity testing as a valid thing. And if you're not, like me, then you think that it shouldn't be happening. This is horrible. It is horrible. So anyway, I'm very curious to know what other people think of this, and maybe somebody else will understand why somebody cares if a woman was a virgin when they were married or not, because I do not get it. So anyway, that's all I really have to say, and I really wished I had recorded this video sooner after Monique sent me that link. But she did send me like 40 links that day, so I just archived her emails. Some of them I haven't read. Sorry, Monique. Anyway, I'll need to get to bed soon, but that's my thoughts on virginity testing.